Hello, hello. My name is Nicholas Rivas, and I talk about politics and stuff. And today we're going to be talking about conspiracies. So I talked about this topic a few videos ago, or maybe just the last video, and I'm just forgetting. But I mostly focused on flat Earth conspiracies, which are one of my favorites. They're kind of like a fun, trivial, not really harmful in a sense of something conspiracy-wise, like anti-vaxxers. Those conspiracies kind of freak me out because they cause real-world issues and trouble, and the eradication of viruses come back because of the ignorance of anti-vaxxers. Whereas flat earthers, it's like the worst case that's happened is a guy tried to fly up to space and he died. Hilarious, I know. So with conspiracies, I started thinking about it more and thinking about that topic. I kind of just wanted to dive into the general ideas when it came to conspiracies, because I think conspiracies are natural, are normal. They've been from the dawn of time. I imagine our Neolithic to our, prime ape, not bipedal, is it just, what the hell is it called? I get the not bipedal era of us. We were just knuckle draggers. Were people who had conspiracies as well, right? Like we continuously and consistency have always had doubt, and that's innate in artists. And we need to have doubt. We need to have a survival instinct. Like, why is that the way it is? Oh, I have questions on it. Like, that's so human. So I'm not trying to disrespect conspiracy theorists, but there's a thought that's been hitting me pretty recently, two of which I was kind of writing a bit down for, like a stand-up act of, oh, wouldn't this be funny? And I thought, it's a kind of interesting topic. Is, for one, I had someone in my life really close to me say all this stuff about Biden. Biden's this, he's bad, he's doing this, he's doing that, he's doing this. And then she hit me with, but Trump's president. So that's a conspiracy, right? This idea that Trump is president, Biden is not. But then she went to go so far into, or I guess opposite of her conspiracy theory, that Biden is both the president doing bad stuff, but also Trump is still president, because she couldn't admit that the guy lost, right? So there becomes a point where conspiracies contradict each other, and you need them to elaborate, but because of the nature of conspiracies, there's a lot of unanswered questions that people just fill in. And that's my big main point, is the lies that come with conspiracies. If you say Biden is president, you then have to admit that Trump lost, right? Like, that's a kind of more straightforward one. That one really hit me, because I was thinking about that, because that wasn't too long ago. That was something pretty recent for me, and I just can't get it out of my head, like how someone could lie to themselves. Like, did they truly believe that Biden is doing all this wrong as president, but they're also not president? Because, you just start, like, it's like, do they sit there and say that shit to themselves? Are they saying it just to say it? It's, a more comedic level of it all was, I was like, oh, the Hitler looked at Jews and the power they had, so he sought out his his whole death camps was because the Jewish people were so powerful. Yet in the same propaganda of, like, oh, the Jews control, it's not funny, of course, but the concept of the contradictory, they're so powerful, yet in the propaganda they're also very weak and frail people. And it was this weird contradiction. It's you have to really lie to yourself to get these contradictions through when it comes to conspiracies, right? You have to sit there and basically just lie. I mean, that's the issue with conspiracies, and that leads me to my second point. Like, don't make me lie for you. I continuously have people say that Trump won, Biden stole the election. Okay, that's a fair point. That's a conspiracy theory, because then you can still blame Biden, right, for all he's done. Now, of course, there's crazy rabbit holes with that, and I don't believe that is true, that he lost. I mean, a president who had to deal with the worst pandemic within recent, human history. It'd be a long shot to say you could win that, no matter how bad Biden of a president or Trump was as a president for himself. What makes more sense? And my final point, my second big point, was just don't make me lie for you. I hate having to lie for people to get their political or to get their conspiracies across. If you come with me and you say, you know, I believe in this conspiracy, I truly want to know that, like, these questions, you know, I want to hear you out. But if you start hitting me with contradictions, another one was the flat earther movement, was that we never landed on the moon. I brought up to my coworker, like, hey, how is it all these government agencies who can barely stand each other as it is agreed to say, hey, yeah, the moon, let's fake that shit? How, right? I asked her this, and she hit me with, you know, it's all one world government. Who cares? Like, what do you mean? Like, are you surprised that the governments are lying to you? Like, she tried to flip it on me like that, right? And I was like, all right, fair, I guess, whatever. I think it's still a valid question. How do you get these people to work? But if they're just one conglomerate of people and there's the illusion of a multi-government world, hey, that's a conspiracy theory that could make sense, right? You can try to rationalize it. But then she hit me in a separate conversation with these countries that we're warring with. I think it was in Iran. We were talking about Iran or Iraq. They're out to kill us, right? And so they're working with China and they're working with Russia. And so she's saying all this, and I go, didn't you just say that the governments are all aligned? This is the illusion. Like, so it's fake, right? None of those countries are really warring with each other. There's like one guy at the head of the table and he's just lying to all of us, right? That's what you're saying. And so I brought that up, and she's like, no, what? No, yeah, there's one world government, but also there's these governments. So I was literally talking to a wall. Like, she said it with a straight face, like, no, one world government. What about Iraq and Iran and the Chinese communists? Oh, yeah, no, those are real. Yeah. So you have to lie to them. You have to lie to yourself. I don't want to lie. If your conspiracy theory can hold up as much as possible, please send it, show it, tell us. But when you have these contradictions, maybe sit down and go, maybe it's not a conspiracy theory. Maybe the simplest answer is that one government persevered to get on the moon, and all the other countries went, hey, touche, you got us, we can't deny this, right? That makes sense, other than there's just one world conglomerate. There's no conglomerate government. There's a conglomerate government, and there's no real multifaceted layers of government. But also there is in certain areas, and in this place they want to kill us because they're communist, but there's only one world. The one world is communist. Like, you see this circles I have to go through just to rationalize this far-fetched theory. And that's my thing. Just don't make me lie for you. Sit down and rationalize it. I love conspiracy theories, and I believe there are conspiracy theories. A valid one is something I brought up in an earlier video, is President Reagan had a tape that came out that said, hey, monkeys, or these countries like Africa, they're a bunch of black monkeys, and just being a racist, foul person. I remember, talking about, that situation, and one of my friends, we were talking about, I think, the drug war. Nixon used the drug war to vilify racial movements, and to vilify these leaders such as like MLK, right? And marijuana to break down the brown and Latino, black, parts of the country, lock them up, right? Disproportional to whites. That's a real, conspiracy, quote unquote. We just, never had him admit it himself, so you can't really deem it. But there's been people out of his administration who came out and said, oh, yeah, we were vilifying the blacks and brown communities. Yeah, what are you talking about? And so that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Like, those have a lot of ring true. Those ring true. There's a lot of evidence. There's even people admitting, right? There's ways to prove this. And not to say that every other conspiracy doesn't. It's just, it has a lot of ground that I can stand on. And I know it kind of hurts to hear, but I think it's a pill that people can swallow, and I'm just kind of rambling. But all that being said is, thank you for watching, thank you for listening. I make videos every other day. Follow my TikTok, Twitter, Insta, all that. And yeah, have a good one.